Majesty, and welcome now to Thursday. Well, overcast today for the royalty, the zodiac, and there's a chance of some anxiety, I'm afraid. That's because the moon has now moved into Cancer, and Cancer is how you really manage your subconscious. Now, Leos in their subconscious tend to mother themselves, but when the moon highlights this, putting emotional focus on the subconscious, that's what makes subconscious issues come to the foreground. So whatever the weeds on your soul garden in the next 2 days, they may be a little more intense emotionally. You might find yourself being a little bit more sensitive emotionally when it comes to what your trigger issues are. Also, be advised that when someone really pisses you off or someone really upsets you during this transit, 9 out of 10 times you are projecting your subconscious onto them. So be careful. You don't want to get a bad reputation, Your Majesty. Now, zipping around the zodiac, also adding to your sensitivity, the sun in Pisces in chapter 2, and we are working on intimacy and boundaries, where you draw your line. So I would not be too surprised if the moon and sun work together for you on the same issue. For instance, you may be oversensitive to someone that cheated on you in the past, and that's what you've always dealt with. You've always had people that cheat on you, so you can see how your subconscious weeds come onto the present and make it a compound issue. But we can turn that frown upside down, Your Majesty, because Venus is ruling the day today. Venus is the healing and creation vibration. And in chapter 2, we want to experiment with new opportunities, new potentials. So today's an excellent day to try and experiment with a new boundary. So for instance, maybe they don't have to date you for a full year to get a kiss at the end of the night. Or maybe you can trust someone after a few weeks of getting to know them. And you might want to change and creatively change a certain boundary. Creation vibration also is good for healing, and you really do need to heal from past wounds. So if you still have some sort of chip on your shoulder about someone that did lie to you or did cheat you or really not respect your boundaries in the past, you want to take that Venus energy and you want to heal from that, because that's only going to draw in another person that does the same if it's not out of your vibration. We've got to have a clean slate to draw in a clean partnership. One last thing, speaking of partnership, now it's an excellent time, Leo, to invest in marriages right now. In fact, Mars and Jupiter are both saying take a risk when it comes to marriages. Take a leap. They're both promising innovation if you do so. And kind of depending on your situation will determine what you should do. For instance, if you're in a situation with a marriage or with a long-term relationship that's kind of become flat and flavorless, like soda that loses its carbonation, why don't you try to spark it up in the next couple of days? You may find a great return on that. Or if you've been single but afraid to put yourself out there, put yourself out there. Venus and Mars are saying this is the best time to gamble when it comes to relationships for Leos, especially through the weekend. By the way, for those of you who have Leo risings, the same thing is true. You're working on intimacy issues in the background and in your relationships more subtly, not so much as intense as the actual Leos. More subtly, you should also take some risk in your long-term relationships. All right, Your Majesty, that's all I have. I'll see you tomorrow with the weekend forecast. Live, love, be. So